Yeah, so as soon as you turn 16, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna let you rock this every time you come to LA. Yeah, see you. So, turn this corner LA, it's a little dusty, but you know, front shot.
Yeah.
And then out. Minute.
Okay.
Okay.
Alright, so I'm gonna be dropping this next year.
Man, you good?
I'm good. How are
Hey, young brother, everything's good?
Everything's
Selling
great.
out arenas and everything? Starting to act different, huh?
No,
you ain't been calling me and hanging out the way we used to hang out.
Well, I mean, you try to get in contact with me, through all my, partners and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But you never really got my number, so.
Right. Okay.
My number?
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you my number.
Yeah.
I don't have legal guardianship of him, but for the next 48 hours, he's with me. So, and we gonna go full crazy.
I'm going crazy.
Crazy.
When Sean Diddy Combs' properties were raided in March of 2024, there was a lot of speculation about what might be found inside and whether it would be connected to any of his celebrity friends and acquaintances. As Homeland Security agents poured out of his mansions in LA and Miami with boxes full of electronics, there were rumors that if Combs filmed his elaborate performances called freak-offs or other parties, there could be video evidence of possible criminal activity. And the celebrity at the center of a lot of rumors, warranted or not, was Justin Bieber. But now, during week 1 of Combs' criminal trial, the singer has officially responded to allegations that Combs may have him as he was coming up in the music industry. We're going to talk about that right now. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. Okay, let's talk about singer Justin Bieber. Now 31 years old, he was discovered when he was just 12, went on to become one of the most best-selling musical artists of all time, had some pretty high-profile influences like R&B superstar Usher, became Justin's mentor, controversial record executive Scooter Braun was his manager as the teen basically shot to stardom. And among his celebrity acquaintances was, of course, music titan Sean Diddy Combs, who had been Usher's mentor in the 90s and early 2000s. And Bieber had spent some time with Combs over the years. Combs' wild party lifestyle has always been something of an open secret, with him often joking about it on daytime and late-night talk shows. But in the last year or so, very, very different. More and more allegations have started to come out against Combs that are really no laughing matter. Civil lawsuits that made rape and extortion claims, rumors that celebrities could be involved in nefarious behavior with Combs behind closed doors, even claims by one man that he had in his possession actual tapes featuring Combs and other celebrities. And as we know, Combs is currently on trial in the Southern District of New York on charges of racketeering, conspiracy, trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion, transportation to engage in prostitution. But one of the biggest rumors that has been hanging over the entire Diddy saga was Justin Bieber a victim of his alleged predatory and inappropriate behavior? Well, I'll tell you what, now, as week 1 of Combs' trafficking and racketeering trial comes to a close, Justin Bieber's camp is finally responding. So his representatives told TMZ, quote, although Justin is not among Sean Combs' victims, there are individuals who were genuinely harmed by him. Shifting focus away from this reality detracts from the justice these victims rightfully deserve. So to talk about this, I want to bring back on former federal prosecutor Nima Rahmani. Nima, so good to see you. Thanks so much for coming here on Sidebar. I want to talk about the timing of this statement from Justin Bieber's camp. This can't be just a coincidence.
No, it can't be, because one of the biggest questions in the Diddy trial is what other celebrities will be named, who participated in the freak-offs and who witnessed the freak-offs. I mean, Diddy's white parties are infamous, and one of the victims that people have been talking about for about a year and a half now has been Justin Bieber. And now finally, after week 1 of trial, when we know that Don Richard is the next witness and we're going to start hearing who the government thinks is going to help corroborate their case, we are not going to hear from Justin Bieber. And it really goes back to a video when he was about 15 years old, when Combs said he was going to spend 48 hours with Justin Bieber. And that's when all the speculation began. Bieber's camp didn't say anything until now, but I think it's important that he did. And he also, like many celebrities in Hollywood, want to stay as far away from the Diddy trial as possible.
Because you think that there was talk of him testifying and he didn't, he wanted to shut that down.
I think so. I think people want to know, because look, the trial is lasting 2 months, right? 8 weeks, maybe even 10 weeks. And I know Judge Subramanian is trying to move it along as quickly as he can. But now that Cassie Ventura is wrapping up her testimony, we know that we're going to hear from a couple other victims. But the government needs to fill that time. And what they're wanting to do is put on victims that really aren't in a romantic relationship and never have been with Combs, right? Cassie got impeached with some of that, the emails, the text messages, the words that she put, those words of affirmation. So to the extent that there are other victims, that's how the government's going to be able to overwhelm the defense here. And if it's a celebrity victim, even better.
See, here's the thing. I think about it, and I'm sure he didn't want to, I guess the idea is, not distract from the conversation that's being had, but to make a statement towards the end of the week, after opening statements, or towards the conclusion of Cassandra Ventura's testimony, when he makes a statement confirming that there were people harmed by Combs, does that signify to you that he believes the prosecution's case, or does he think it's beyond the criminal case and based on the accusations we've seen in the civil arena?
I think it's probably the former. And like you said, the key part of that statement was denying that he was a victim, but really talking about the other victims. And it wasn't alleged victims. He said other victims, well, through his spokesperson. So I think that is very, very important. This isn't a Michael Jackson type case where, celebrities are rushing to Combs' defense. Very few people are. And the fact that you have someone come out that really isn't 50 Cent or someone who, is trying to make light of it, or a documentary about it and really point the finger at Diddy, that's a big deal, Jesse.
Mm-hmm. And he mentioned harmed by him, right? It was very specific language. They were genuinely harmed by him, and the shifting focus away from this reality distracts from the justice these victims rightfully deserve. There's no way to parse that language.
There isn't, and the defense is obviously trying to separate physical harm from trafficking and assault, but the average person who's watching isn't going to be making that distinction. That may matter in the case, but it's not going to matter in the court of public opinion.
And Bieber's statement, it comes as TikTok started floating around on Friday. There was a doctored image of Bieber where he allegedly announces that he's going to testify against Combs, but the video was quickly debunked as fake. And Nima, you think at the end of the day, are we going to see some celebrity or celebrity friends testify at this trial?
I think we have to, because there's got to be independent witnesses that, saw some of this, right? I'm not saying maybe the actual freak-offs themselves, maybe there are other participants, but, Combs was very public, and Cassie Ventura, to the extent that she was, look, it's like Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, right? You got Kate Moss was brought into that case. People that are rich and famous celebrities, they have rich and famous celebrity friends, right? That's why Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni, we're talking about Taylor Swift. This is a small circle here in Hollywood. So the independent witnesses are very likely going to be other celebrities. So I think we're just starting to scratch the surface when it comes to that.
So the question becomes, why do fans believe that Justin Bieber could have been one of Sean Combs' targets, right? You mentioned it before. Well, as the legal saga against Combs ramped up last year, there was video clips that started to resurface of Combs and Bieber spending some time together. And people noticed that the videos often kind of straddled the line between awkward and inappropriate. And Bieber sometimes seemed really uncomfortable. For example, when Bieber was 15 years old, he uploaded a video to his YouTube channel called 48 Hours with Diddy. And this is where he said he was going to be hanging out with the rapper for a couple of days.
So check this out, yo. Justin, you ever seen the movie 48 Hours? Right now, he's having 48 hours with Diddy, him and his boy. They're having the times of their lives, like where we hanging out and what we doing. We can't really disclose, but it's definitely a 15-year-old's dream.
Now, some fans called out Combs for allegedly grooming behavior they say was exhibited in this video, spending time at his home with a young kid who's suddenly been thrown into the world of fame and money, taking him under his wing, offering up opportunities, maybe gifts that he could only dream of.
Yeah, so as soon as you turn 16, you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna let you rock this every time you come in LA. Yeah, it's gonna be yours. So Telling me come to LA, it's a little dusty, but you know, go get the front shot of this.
Man.
Head that out. Minute.
Woo. Okay.
Okay.
All right, so I'm gonna be dropping this next year.
Now, look, of course, this could all be for the camera, it could be performative. Bieber could have left right after this. We don't really know, but the video made the rounds. Speculation around Combs grew. And then another clip surfaced, and this one posted to Combs' YouTube page showing another interaction, this time apparently in a studio.
What's up, man? You good?
I'm good. How are you?
All right, young brother, everything's good?
Everything's
Selling
great.
out arenas and everything? Starting to act different, huh? You ain't been calling me and hanging out the way we used to hang out.
Well, I mean, you try to get in contact with me, through all my, partners and whatnot. Mm-hmm. But you never really got my number, so.
Right. Okay.
My number?
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you my number.
Yeah.
Awkward, I don't know, it could have been a joke for the cameras. Nima, what do you take away from these videos?
Yeah, it's awkward and it's weird. So, look, if it's just by itself, maybe you look past it. But there's been a lot of allegations involving minors, not in the criminal case. That hasn't been charged. That would be a game changer, but in the civil lawsuit. So I'm not saying that those are true, but sometimes when there's smoke, there's fire. And you have a lot of these civil claimants alleging that Combs is also men and boys and children. So again, not charged in the criminal case, but given those allegations out there, I think it's something that people are going to pick up on, and rumors and speculation are going to fly.
So according to sources who spoke to TMZ, Bieber was actually friends with Combs' sons, and that many of his past public appearances with Combs have been, quote, performative. So in 2015, Combs presented Bieber with an American Music Award for Best Collaboration and gave him a big hug on stage. And then in 2020, Bieber did an interview with Apple Music. And in it, he expressed how he wishes he could protect other young artists like Billie Eilish from some of what he experienced in the music industry as a teenager. But he didn't really elaborate beyond that. And one of Bieber's most recent interactions with Combs was even more awkward than the prior ones, if that's possible. It reportedly took place in 2021. Nima, I want you to take a look at this with me, okay? So in the video, Bieber, with shaggy hair, under a baseball cap, he greets Diddy. He's got a big smile on his face, but something seems just a little bit off about the whole thing because Combs seems to pat Bieber's chest. There are some who have speculated that he was making sure Bieber wasn't wearing a wire, even though there's no way to actually confirm that. Nima, what do you make of that?
Yeah, awkward and weird. I'm not surprised people think that he was patting him down. Just not something that you typically see. And again, it's just part of this real pattern of kind of strange conduct between Combs and Bieber. So I understand why people are speculating that it's something more than just this innocent friendship.
In 2023, Bieber had collaborated with Combs on the song Moments from Combs' last studio release. It's called the Love Album, Off the Grid, and it featured collaborations with a lot of different artists. Justin Bieber has had a lot of ups and downs over the years. We pretty much watched him grow up, and that meant that many of his mistakes and questionable decisions were fodder for the tabloids. In fact, Law and Crime Sierra Gillespie actually put together a great episode on Bieber's latest struggles in the spotlight for our new channel, Scandal. I encourage everybody to go check it out. But there has been speculation that possible in Bieber's past could be a source for some of his bad boy behavior and potential mental health problems in recent years. Now, Nima, that could be a stretch. Some could see it as a connection. Are you think there's something to that or not?
It could, people are speculating, right? I mean, obviously I'm here in Hollywood and people will see Justin Bieber looking disheveled or losing weight. And, of course, the tabloids are gonna jump to conclusions, right? Is it drugs? Is it relationship problems? Is it trauma from past? And it's really impossible to know what, if anything, he's going through, but he does appear to be acting and looking differently as of late.
But some will say, if he's making this comment now, and they're looking at his past interactions and making comments through over the years, about protecting young artists, this is a big question that a lot of celebrities have, and I'm not pointing the finger at anybody. But there are those who I'm sure will say, if celebrities knew something, why didn't they say something? And by the way, that came up with the Harvey Weinstein case, right? People allegedly knew rumors about his behaviors, but rumors one thing, how much do you definitively know? What do you say to that? Because again, we obviously don't know who knew what. I don't believe this trial is going to sort through any of that whatsoever. I don't think we're going to be seeing big names either being named in this trial or even taking the stand. But what do you say to the argument somebody had to know something if these allegations are true?
Look, I think it's a fair argument, Jesse. This seems like it was one of the worst kept secrets in Hollywood. How can you or assault people for a span of years or decades and people not know, especially when a lot of this happened in hotel rooms or with other people around? This is the same arguments people make with respect to Weinstein or Epstein or other. This isn't your typical that is behind closed doors without other people present. That's one of the things that makes this case so unique. And look, there is going to be speculation and there is going to be rumors and there are going to be rumors. And that's what social media is all about. I mean, we saw some of the rumors dispelled this week when Cassie was saying, you know what, the baby oil didn't contain drugs. Even the government star witness is addressing some of these rumors on that witness stand. So I'm not surprised Bieber and his reps are doing the same.
Yeah. Do you think a lot of eyeballs on Hollywood are on this trial?
No question. And I think people are afraid that they're going to be wrapped up in this because it can be, a career killer. Even if the allegations are out there, right? If you knew something and you didn't say something and there's a witness that gets on that stand, and look, maybe Cassie is prepped and she's just staying in her lane, but we don't know what the other witnesses are going to say. Just you and I have tried all sorts of cases, and witnesses can go off the rails, or there could be tangents, or there could be allegations thrown out. One of the next victims, they say something about someone else. It's going to be very damaging, not just in that courtroom, but outside the courtroom as well.
If he gets convicted, do you think you're going to hear people speak out and say, this is what happened to me, now I finally want to tell my story? Do you think that's a possibility?
I do. I think, there are people that probably are afraid of him. And if he is indeed locked up for the rest of his life, I think they will be more empowered to come forward. Absolutely.